All right, let's get right into it. It's another huge earnings week, and we're going to peel back the curtain to see where the really big money, the smart money, is getting positioned. We've crunched the numbers to find the top 10 stocks that are flashing the strongest signals of institutional conviction.
And that quote really says it all, doesn't it? It's that exact moment where all the careful positioning by major institutions collides with the chaos of an earnings report. And, that's where things get really interesting.
So, you might be asking, how do we even find these signals? Well, it's not magic, it's all driven by our quantitative model. We look at three key things. First, bullish sentiment scores. Second, we track how much new institutional money has actually moved into a stock quarter over quarter. And third, we look for other positive positioning signals. When you blend all that together, you get a really clear picture of where conviction is building. So, let's start the countdown.
Kicking us off at number 10, we have Norwegian Cruise Line. Now, this is what you'd call your classic cyclical reopening play. Basically, a big bet that we're all going to keep traveling and spending on experiences.
But here's the thing with Norwegian. While the general feeling, the sentiment is pretty positive, the amount of new institutional cash flowing in is actually on the smaller side. That makes their earnings report super important. We're going to be watching for their pricing power, how they're handling those crazy fuel costs, and maybe most importantly, their forward booking trends. That's the real crystal ball for consumer confidence. Coming in at number 9 is Cytoax Therapeutics, and right away we're seeing a theme emerge, because this is the first of several biotech companies we're going to see on this list today. It's a big hint that money is rotating into this sector.
For a company like CytomX, which is still in the clinical stage, it really boils down to two things: the science and the money. Investors are desperate for any pipeline updates or new partnership news. But the cash position, that's everything. It tells them how long the company can keep the lights on and the research going before they have to ask for more money. It's a huge focus.
At number 8, we've got Gap Inc. And this one's fascinating. We might be looking at a turnaround signal here. After a tough few years, we're starting to see institutions show some renewed confidence in this classic American brand.
And here's why that's so interesting. The market isn't just going to take their word for it. They need to see proof. Sure, margin improvement is great, but the real story here is inventory management. If they can finally get a handle on having the right amount of stuff in the right places, that's the biggest sign of all that this turnaround is for real. Number 7 takes us right back to the travel theme with Viking Holdings. So just like Norwegian, Viking has really high sentiment scores. People are feeling good about that high-end, luxury travel space. The twist is the actual capital flow from institutions is a bit more on the moderate side. Because of that, the most important thing to listen for on their earnings call won't just be their own numbers. You have to listen past that. It's going to be their commentary on the health of the consumer and what the demand looks like for luxury travel as a whole. That's what's really going to move the stock. And we're continuing that biotech theme at number 6 with Savara. Now, this is a name that's been seeing some steady, quiet accumulation from institutions. And whenever you see that, you have to pay attention. Look, this isn't just random buying. This kind of slow, steady buildup suggests that investors are trying to get in line before some future news drops. So on their call, the market's going to be zeroed in on any clinical milestones, updates on their path with regulators, and you guessed it, that all-important cash runway. All right, we're cracking the top 5 now with Credo Technology. This is a company that's a super critical but kind of behind-the-scenes player in the whole AI revolution. They make the high-speed connectivity gear that's absolutely essential inside data centers. The strong positioning we're seeing here from institutions is a direct bet on the AI build-out continuing at a frantic pace. They're betting that as long as the giants are building data centers, Credo's tech is a must-have. So we'll be watching for what they say about data center demand and, of course, their guidance for the future.
At number 4 is ROST Stores. This is our defensive retail play on the list. When the economy feels a little shaky, you often see the big money flow towards names like this that are viewed as being more resilient. The heavy institutional buying here really hints at a strategic shift. It's like investors are saying, hey, we think the consumer might be getting a little more cautious, so we're favoring the value-focused model of ROS. The numbers that will prove or disprove that theory are same-store sales and whether they can keep their margins stable. Okay, we are in the top 3, and this is where the signals get really strong. At number 3 is RAPT Therapeutics. What makes this one so special is that it has both incredibly high sentiment and a really significant jump in institutional money flowing in. It's the whole package. You really want to pay close attention to names like this. When you see this specific combo in biotech, high sentiment, backed by a big flow of real cash, you often see some huge volatile moves after earnings. The focus is going to be 100% on their trial progress and any hints they give about future data releases. And in our number 2 spot, it's our final biotech name, Apogee Therapeutics. Now get this company has seen one of the largest quarter-over-quarter inflows of capital of any company in the entire biotech space. The smart money isn't just taking a position, they're making a statement here. A massive institutional rotation like this isn't a random bet. It screams that there's a very strong expectation of some major positive news coming down the pike. The market is clearly anticipating good news on their pipeline and clinical timelines, and you can bet they'll be picking apart that cash burn rate to make sure the company has enough gas in the tank to get there. And that brings us to the number 1 earnings signal for the entire week, with an absolutely massive signal score of 0.95. It's Broadcom. This stock is showing the strongest, most unified institutional positioning of any company in our entire data set. It's not even close. And I want to say that again because it's just so important. This is the highest conviction positioning signal of the week. When you see sentiment and actual capital flows line up this perfectly, it tells you the institutional world has a very, very clear point of view on a stock. And you can see exactly why. I mean, it's just a perfect storm of positives. Institutions are betting huge on that continued demand for AI infrastructure, massive spending from the hyperscalers, think Google, Amazon, and explosive growth in Broadcom's custom chip business. Their forward guidance is going to be one of the most closely watched moments of the entire earnings season.
So let's just take a step back and look at the big picture for a second. What is this top 10 list really telling us? Well, 3 big themes just jump right out. First, the AI infrastructure trade is still king, with Broadcom and Credo leading the way. Second, it's clear that institutional money is moving into biotech in a big way. And third, when it comes to the consumer, it's a split decision between defensive retail like ROST and the more adventurous travel plays.
Now, this is probably the most important part of this whole explainer, so listen closely. It is absolutely crucial that you understand how to use this information. This list is a volatility watch list. It is not a buy list or a sell list. We are not trying to predict which way these stocks will go. We are simply identifying the names where institutional positioning suggests there's a higher than usual chance of a big move, either up or down, after they report earnings.
So to wrap it all up, if you want to know where the absolute strongest signals are this week, you focus right here. Broadcom, Apogee, ROST, and Credo. These are the companies that have that powerful 1-2 punch of both extremely bullish sentiment and a significant flow of real money from institutions.
And really, that's the key takeaway. Now you've seen the data, you know where institutions are placing their bets before the numbers come out. So the only question left is, where are you going to be looking this week? Disclaimer. The information provided in this explainer is for informational and educational purposes only and should not be construed as financial advice. Please consult a qualified financial advisor before making any financial decisions.
Hey, if you got some value out of this breakdown, do me a favor and hit that like button. And make sure you subscribe to the channel for more of this institutional analysis every single week. We track the smart money so you can stay ahead.
Thank you so much for watching.